Welcome to the CEO's blog for this week, and as we start each week we give you an update on the COVID-19 procedures, protocols that we're putting in place here in New South Wales. Well, as all of you no doubt are aware, there is a problem in Victoria, and that problem impacts not only on community but your sport as well. There are new travel restrictions certainly coming out of Victoria and changes to what is occurring with Queensland. But to talk about Victoria, simply it's a no-go zone. Just impossible to even think about moving between state to state. But if you do, we do have protocols. You will have to follow them. The primary protocol is you must contact our stewards to tell them what your intended movements are before you go. Horse transport, as far as harness racing is concerned, will be permissible across the border. Naturally, all the permits must be in place with government to allow that to happen. Also, Harness Racing New South Wales must know about those horse movements before they actually occur. With our Breeders' Challenge coming up in September, which isn't too far away, we really need to be observant of how we best service those owners, those trainers that have horses in Victoria. Of course, at this stage, the trainers will not be coming with the horses, but we need to adopt that. As far as Queensland's concerned, well, we've taken an approach not too dissimilar to the other code, the thoroughbred code, with what we're doing there. It's a pretty open movement back and forward across that border, but once again, notification to the stewards must be undertaken, and of course we will require a negative test to the COVID-19 virus that's currently about when you come back into New South Wales. These tests are easily accessible in this time. There's not too much of a delay, and plan for your return trip. Plan before you return and make sure you get those tests taken. As I say, terrible situation in Victoria. We're thinking of all our participants down there, how we can help them. The best way we can help them is be supportive, not be critical of anyone within our sport. Just be in this together and keep our sport going forward. Keep an eye out. We still have social distancing in place. We've got owners back on track. We have also the fact that patrons are back on track on some tracks, but operational plans must be submitted to Harness Racing New South Wales. They must be approved, and also they must be adhered to. So social distancing, keep it up. Hygiene, very important, whether you're within the harness racing industry or in any day-to-day life. Just keep it up and be very wary, because we want to control and keep this business going, our racing business. We have an agreement with government. We will be protective of our industry, and we will be proactive in doing everything we can to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Keep up the good work. You're all doing a marvellous job to this stage, but let's just keep it up until we can eradicate coronavirus from society. Now for our regular segment of highlights of the week. I don't see everything. The people around here don't see everything. If there's something unique out there that a club sees or a participant sees that happens in our industry, feed it on through by email, and if we can get it there, we'll get it into the blog each week. But the highlights of this week, which was a long week, are starting in Bathurst last week, where Bernie Hewitt was the star performer, with a treble as a trainer and a double as a driver. Matt Rue trained a double, whilst Dougie Hewitt also drove two winners. We moved to Tamworth on Thursday, where there were doubles to Dean Chappell as both a trainer and a driver. And the win by Darkside for Len and Maddie Simon at 100-1 was something special for that family. Penrith on Thursday, doubles to Kevin Pizzuto and David Morris. Wagga on Friday, the dominance of the Day Hewitt family in taking out half the program was certainly there to see. Neil Day and with Dance Away and Dennis Day with Neil's Reactor won the first two, whilst Brad Hewitt won with Boston Busker in the third and Sam Hewitt with Fast and Flashy in the fourth. Whilst for the locals, Saucy Dreams reached the lead in the Wagga Horse of the Year for David Druitt, whilst Game Set Major was awesome in winning in 153.7. Newcastle on Friday night and the Clayton Harmey and Blake Hughes show kept rolling on with doubles for the two of them, whilst Blake, I missed this earlier, had missed past his 100 career wins milestone in less than 2 years of driving. Blake's 100th winner was at Newcastle on the 26th of June with Major Bob, and Blake certainly has a bright future in harness racing, as do so many other bright young stars that we have. Tabcorp Park Menangle on Saturday night, Perfect Stride resumed on his way to Queensland for the Derby. He will contest the final there on Saturday night, and when he's chasing that Derby, has finished third in the Victorian Derby and second in the New South Wales Derby. So hopefully he can get that win alongside of his name. Cash and flow keeps on flowing on for Craig Cross and Luke McCarthy. 8 straight wins now, and he's just doing an awesome job for the connections there. Parks on Sunday, there were 8 different trainers and drivers and owners. And for Laurie Ashcroft, a committeeman who worked so hard for so many years, the win of Look Well in the first was extra special. Another milestone for Laurie. Newcastle on Monday, and Grace Pennella scored her second win, and she was at her very best for a young girl as she won that race on protest. She certainly served the trainer and the owners sufficiently in the stewards' room. Menangle on Tuesday, there were 8 different trainers and 7 different drivers, with Jack Trainer scoring a double. Leeton on Tuesday, 6 different trainers, 6 different drivers and 6 different owners, and including What a Sticky Beak for the Griffith crew of Dennis Conroy, Noel Maxwell and Des Fuller, which is a horse raced on lease from John Marcus, the president of the Griffith Harness Racing Club. Bathurst on Wednesday night, and David and Justin Reynolds scored a double, and Bernie Hewitt scored yet another double there at his home track. Penrith last night, Kevin Pizzuto and Todd McCarthy, another double, and that's a great combination. And I just remind stakeholders, go to our website, see what we're doing with our strategic plan 2021 to 2023, make a contribution, put your thoughts on paper, and help Harness Racing New South Wales and the rest of the industry map our future years ahead. And to close the blog this week on a sad note, I recognise the passing of Jim Bennett. Jim Bennett was a veteran of the sport, started way back in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, right the way through. Jim Bennett passed away sadly earlier this week. His best horse in more recent times was Derry Wong Dundee at Harold Park, winner after winner there. But his favourite horse was Jazzy, the horse that started him on a remarkable journey in harness racing. On behalf of all the industry, on behalf of the board, of the staff of Harness Racing New South Wales, to Jim's wife Lorraine and their family, and his countless friends within harness racing, our sincere condolences. A great man lost to the industry, a man that just got on with the task of training winners, satisfying owners and being an all-round champion man. That's it for this week. There'll be more next week with the blog. All the best with harness racing this week. As I say, stay safe in these difficult times and testing times we're in with the coronavirus. All the best for the week. Thank you for viewing.